2021 is shaping up to be an eventful year for all things Alien. We have the new comic series coming, which I talked about previously. We have a new Predator movie in the works, and it has been officially announced that the Alien series will be returning in the form of a television series set to air on FX and Hulu from creator Noah Hawley. Yes, after years of rumors, after hearing little tidbits here and there, hearing maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, it looks like it's definitely happening. The news was officially announced by FX chairman John Landgraf during the Disney Investor Day, which was also filled with other news about upcoming projects related to Disney and all the IPs it owns, which, as you know, is quite a bit. Landgraf also mentioned that they're in talks with Ridley Scott to executive produce the series, with no official announcement of his attachment just yet. We've already heard a little bit of what Noah Hawley intends to bring to the series. He's spoken in a very general way about his pitch, about how he wants to develop a story that highlights human drama as well as the alien horror. He has said that he wanted to display humanity at its worst. Beyond that general idea, he's kept his lips sealed, but now it looks like this concept will finally come to fruition. And I am excited, I really am. This is something we've never seen before in the franchise. We've had the movies, of course, we've had the comics, the novels, the video games, but never a television series, and now is the perfect time for it. Television has never been better, and oftentimes series feel not so much like episodic series, but like long, continuing movies. They have the look, feel, and often budget of any of the biggest blockbuster films. So, while in my heart of hearts, I'd rather have a new movie and still hope for one down the line, what we get in the meantime is basically a 10-hour movie. And that sounds good to me. There's so much we don't know at this point, and I'm sure more details will come along down the line. I'm especially interested in seeing who they get for the cast and who will be involved with special effects, so we'll have to wait and see just exactly how promising this prospect is. But whether it turns out to be the best thing ever, or a huge disappointment, or somewhere in between, it's still a milestone. The first Alien TV series to be developed since the franchise began in 1979. That's something significant. That's something worth celebrating. However, I am forced to put a little bit of a cap on my excitement because some additionally released details about this series have given me some pause. The announcement, shared on Disney and Alien's official social media accounts, had this to say: "Expect a scary thrill ride set not too far in the future here on Earth." Now this has me racking my brain, desperately trying to interpret the implications of this statement. The not-too-distant future, set on Earth. This all comes down to semantics, sure. As far as the timeline goes, technically you could say Alien takes place in the not-too-distant future. The events of Alien occur in 2122. I guess that's not too distant, right? You could argue that. But I'd say generally when you hear not-too-distant future, you think more of maybe a decade or two in the future, not a century. If that's the case, and if it is set in the not-too-distant future, on Earth, then I think that presents some problems. For one thing, there's the matter of how this series could relate to the prequels, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. You could argue that David 8, the malevolent android anti-hero of the series, outright created the xenomorph. But you could also argue he followed a genetic recipe of sorts passed down from the engineers. The latter seems to be suggested in the digital short Alien Advent, which was included with the home video release of Alien Covenant. Advent also suggests, though, that the first time YUTANI becomes aware of the xenomorph is through David's transmission, informing the company of his findings. So if this new series is set on Earth, set in the not-too-distant future, and the aliens already exist in this series, does that mean Prometheus and Alien Covenant are being disregarded? Does it mean YUTANI, or perhaps another company, had been aware of the alien before those events? Does it mean the aliens existed on Earth before the events of Alien, and nobody knew of this xenomorph creature before the Nostromo landed on LV-426? If that's the case, then whatever alien threat existed on Earth during the time of this series was contained, wiped out, and covered up so elaborately that no knowledge of it exists, at least among the average person. Wouldn't that then render the events of this series completely inconsequential and pointless? Wouldn't it be, in essence, the same concept as aliens running around in a small town wreaking havoc but then getting nuked at the end, like in Aliens vs. Predator Requiem? Did they learn nothing from that mistake? Would it then completely devalue the story of Ripley, whose whole arc was to prevent the alien from reaching Earth because it was a terrible threat that would cause untold devastation. But then I guess it turns out it's just fine. They can reach Earth and cause enough of a threat for a dramatic effect, but then get eliminated, as if they never even existed. Yes, the Earth setting worries me. The alien getting to Earth is a big deal, and should be treated as such. This was something Mark Verheiden understood implicitly with the Earth War comics, and followed through with the concept and the global devastation caused by the alien outbreak to the most logical conclusion. This was something even Paul W.S. Anderson at least somewhat understood, to an extent, with the first Alien vs. Predator movie, but sneakily circumnavigated enough by having it set on the most remote location possible, in an underground pyramid in Antarctica. Not ideal, but fair enough, I guess. And this was something the brothers Strauss didn't understand and didn't really care about in making Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, and the result was a pretty bad movie that felt like a B-monster flick that just happened to have aliens and predators in it. If they really are going to go ahead and set this series on Earth, I think they really need to go big or go home. We need something set after at least the events of Aliens, and the threat needs to be extreme. We need to see Earth war levels of global consequence. If it's set as a prequel, on Earth, set before Alien, set before Prometheus, if that's even acknowledged, then I'm going to have a hard time mustering up enthusiasm. But I'm not going to let this bring me down. This is altogether great news, and I'm still excited. This is really only one little sentence that could mean any number of things, and the best thing to do now is wait and see as more develops. After all, this wouldn't be the first time we were told the next Alien entry would be set on Earth, even before the cameras started rolling, and it turned out not to be the case, so we'll see. I wish Noah Hawley the best of luck. The guy has talent, he's brought together some very successful shows. He has good ideas for the series, and I'd love to see Ridley Scott attached as executive producer. If he has at least some creative input, I think I'd feel more confident in the direction of the series. Not full creative force, but a guiding light. I think that would be appropriate. Despite the reservations I have, trust me, I am looking forward to this series. I'm excited, and I'll be following news and updates as they become available, and surely we'll be talking about them on the channel. It should at least be a fun journey, and I hope you'll be along for the ride with me. With this upcoming series, with the new comics, and some new books that I'm eagerly anticipating, 2021 should prove to be an eventful year for the franchise. And I am very grateful for all the creative forces bringing us new stories, and continuing this great series. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and be sure to subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. That's all for now, and until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.